Hey teens, I hope you had a wonderful spring break and that you're happy, healthy, and everything is good right now. I do want to remind you that TDAs are currently due. You can still turn them in the TDA submission, and if we're going to be kind of chasing you down this week. By this Friday, we should have all of them graded and back to you with some suggestions. And it's the last one we're doing this year. Isn't that nice? Nice and easy. What we're going to get to is Anne Frank today. We're going to introduce to you a few of the things as we go along. Usually we'd front load you with all the information. This year, we don't have time for that. So what we're going to do is just give you a little bit of information as you need it. Today we're just going to introduce you to the Frank family, or the Frank family, depending on how you're going to pronounce it, of course. Over in the Netherlands, they would have called them the Frank family. We have Anna Frank, or Anne Frank as we usually know her. She has a sister named Margot, a mother named Edith, and her father. And her father is the character we're actually going to meet in the story, Otto Frank. Unfortunately, Mr. Frank was the only one to survive who was in hiding. And they make that kind of obvious at the beginning of the story. As he returns back to the annex, the hiding place where the family had been all that time before. We're going to have you guys focus on a few things in that scene, but we need to introduce you to the characters, of course. The real life Mr. Frank was a German national, and his relatively successful business owner and things like that in his native country of Germany. And what ended up happening was because of Hitler's anti-Jewish decrees, he ended up moving his family to the Netherlands, where he set up and shop and ended up kind of jumping in and helping out a business called Cohen and Company. And what they did was they manufactured fruit pectin, which is a common ingredient in jams and jellies. What they then did, of course, is, when the idea was that Hitler was moving his armies into places like the Netherlands, they had to come up with ideas of what to do because Jewish people in their communities were being rounded up just like back at home and over in Poland. And Mr. Frank had the idea to basically move his family into hiding. There was an annex built into the back of the business that he kind of helped run. And in this area, they ended up basically kind of like hiding for an entire 2.5 years. Another interesting character to kind of bring up is Miep. Miep is one of the helpers. Now, the Frank family couldn't have done it all by themselves, of course. Miep, who ended up kind of going on to be one of the most well-known of all the helpers, especially the most outspoken, is going to show up in this scene, and so you'll get to meet her as well. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything you need for today. Make sure you answer all your questions, turn your stuff in, and we'll see you tomorrow. Lombardo out.